Hi there. Thanks for tuning in. Are you aware why students select a specific college for their undergraduation or post graduation, especially when it comes to engineering programs or management programs? It's largely based on one single factor, its placements. Yes, you heard it right, campus placement. And I'm sure you are also thinking on those similar lines. While I will not get into the right or wrong of the thought process, each one is entitled to his or her own way of thinking and decision making. However, of late, we've observed that colleges are treated more like placement agencies rather than institutions or temples of learning. Without getting into the right or wrong of such a thought process, let us accept facts as they are. Today, it's a reality that students look for campus placements and they are very keen to get into colleges that offer campus placements. Now, is it possible for every student who gets into a college to get selected in a campus placement and bag that coveted offer? Whereas the college makes an effort to place as many students as possible, it is not always possible to place all the students. The best jobs go to the best campuses in the country. So the challenge at every campus is unique. For example, so when you look at a tier 1 institution, the challenges that the students face there could be very different from the challenges faced by students in a tier 2 or a tier 3 institution. So let's look at it one by one. So in a tier 1 institution, the competition could be more about bagging the right job rather than bagging a job. But whereas when it comes to a tier 2 or a tier 3 institution, it becomes more of a survival of the fittest, and whoever is ahead in the race tries to bag a job rather than the job. So all this boils down to one single fact: campus placements also require preparation. It's not just that you do well in your academics and just go and attend campus placements. It may not work that way. So, needless to say, you need to start early. As soon as you begin the program, you need to start gearing up for campus placements, get yourself ready, make sure you are ahead of the curve, and make sure you are ahead of your classmates. So, it's not about just cracking the interview, it's about ensuring that you are ahead of others. So, is cracking interviews just about power dressing and etiquette in the interview? Is it about English speaking? Is it about language proficiency only? Or is there something else to the whole story? What I have observed is that most interview preparation gurus try to brainwash students into believing that power dressing and interview etiquette is sufficient to crack interviews. It's not just about the nice talk that one does in an interview room. It's also about what work have you done in the past, even as a fresher, even as a recently graduating student. What are the things that you have up your sleeve? What can you bring to the table? And what do you know about the job? So, all this implies that it's not just about being nice, looking pleasant, and speaking good English in an interview. There's much more than just speaking good English in an interview room. So, what are those things that need to be covered so that you stay ahead of the race and you crack that coveted job, or at least crack a decent job? So, let's look at all these factors one by one today. First of all, if you're studying in a 2 year program, a 2 year management program, which is typical in India, so we will break it down into 40 weeks, which is required for dedicated preparation for your campus interview. So let's take the first 8 weeks. In these initial weeks, we will delve into the dynamic world of economics and its impact on business decisions. By staying updated on economic trends and analyzing case studies, we aim to develop a solid understanding of how economic factors influence various aspects of business operations. So it's important as a student who's sitting for campus placement to stay updated on economic trends and news. Analyzing case studies related to management topics such as HR, marketing, finance, and IT in the context of current economic conditions is critical. Applying modern design thinking principles to address economic challenges and opportunities is required and recommended. Moving on to weeks 9 to 12, ideate and prepare a business plan. Irrespective of whether you want to start a new venture on your own or you want to join an existing large conglomerate, it is important to know how ventures start and how are they scaled up. it is quite possible that you might be posted or given an opportunity to handle a fledgling venture within a larger conglomerate. Building on our understanding of economics, we will have to shift our focus to the ideation process and development of a comprehensive business plan. Through hands on exercises and case study analysis, we will have to explore the essentials of creating a viable business concept and translating the same into a strategic plan for success. Learning the fundamentals of ideation and business plan development is very, very essential. Working on creating a business plan based on a given instruction and presenting it convincingly to stakeholders who have been in this business could be very, very helpful to get yourself ready for the final interview. Analyzing case studies related to operations can also be helpful. Moving on to weeks 13 to 16, this is where the image management and the personality development comes into play, apart from product development that is required. Moving on to weeks 13 to 16, this is where we come across image management and impact of a power personality. Image management plays a crucial role in shaping professional success. So don't neglect the way you dress up, the way you present yourself, and the way you brand yourself. At the same time, in parallel, keep learning about starting a venture, managing product development, and developing a prototype that you can take to the market. An interview is a mix of multiple things. It's about your knowledge of your domain, your interest in a specific industry, and your ability to start a business from ground up. In parallel, it is essential that you also learn the intricacies of personal branding and grooming alongside strategies for effective product development and management. So, as you might have noted, I'm talking about two different aspects. On one side, I'm talking about your expertise in your domain, and on the other hand, the way you present yourself. It has to go hand in hand. It's a parallel universe. So, campus placement interview preparation is not just about speaking fluently to the interviewer. It's not just about dressing up well. It is about an amalgamation of your domain knowledge, your expertise, your interest, and the way you present yourself. So, focusing on product development strategies along with image management strategies is critical. Develop skills in business communication and presentation. Moving on to weeks 17 to 20. Now you're midway through your preparation for your campus placement. Focus on current affairs, geopolitics, and business impact of what's happening in the world around you. Geopolitical factors can influence business operations and global markets. In this phase, you must examine the intersection of geopolitics and business, analyzing case studies and discussing geopolitical trends around the world. Weeks 21 to 24, take up assessments. Start taking mock tests, mock interviews, and mock presentations. It's time to put your skills to the test. Focus on preparing for assessments and aptitude tests, refining your presentation skills, and staying updated in the latest developments. Aptitude tests are very critical because most organizations also have aptitude tests as part of the hiring process. So unless you crack the logical reasoning questions, the math questions, and even the verbal test, you will not be able to move on to the next or the subsequent rounds in the hiring process. And assuming you move on there and reach the interview table, it's critical to know about the world around you, the business world, and what's happening in the news. In the meantime, you have been preparing for your startup venture, you have been planning, you have been making your business plan, ideating, developing a product. I think that should be ready by now. And you should have your prototype ready to showcase to the world. Projects, internship, startup venture, all these are items that you can showcase and telling the interviewer very clearly that despite not having a formal work experience, you are still job ready with so many things up your sleeve. Enhance your presentation skills and practice aptitude tests, and at the same time showcase products that you have developed on your own. Weeks 25 to 28, dedicate these weeks for personal branding and networking. Your net worth is your network. Meet as many people as possible, join as many clubs and associations, volunteer to do some work along with people from the industry. This is the best way of not only highlighting your strengths but also meeting up new people who matter to you, who are in positions of authority and decision making. Get your resume ready, but ensure you know what you're writing in your resume. Don't blindly follow some formats. Prepare your own resume, be unique, and be ready to answer questions pertaining to stuff that you mentioned in your resume. So, in a sense, work on creating substance for resumes. A resume does not happen by itself. No resume writer in the world can create a resume for you unless you develop substance. Projects, internship, startup venture, the papers that you publish in magazines, the activities that you participate in, the places that you volunteer, all these are things that will go into your resume. A resume writer can only collate things for you and put it nicely, make it very, very aesthetically pleasing. But getting the stuff is your job. When you are in the last phase of your preparation process, turn your attention to interview readiness. Take up as many mock interviews as possible. Read as many frequently asked questions, both from your domain as well as generic questions, and prepare answers for them. But remember, every battle is planned, although no battle is fought according to plan. You may end up not having the same questions being asked in the interview, but you will be tuned to thinking on the feet and answering it properly with the dozens and hundreds of things that you've done in the prep for your interview. Sharpen your presentation skills, engage in group discussions on various topics that are contemporary, and get interview ready.